just essentially talking. We'll just get to the episode when we get to the episode. But no,
Okay.
overall, how are you doing? I know Monday's a Monday, but how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Um, I am typically multitasking like crazy, but I feel like I've gotten to the point where I'm able to manage everything and also keep a cool head and not feel overwhelmed with things. But I feel great lately.
And see, with that, my ADHD is the ultimate balancer of that because you never get overwhelmed until you sit down and think about things because you stay in the moment. It's like you just go, go, go. It's like, oh, I'm going to go up and do this. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and do this. The moments when I'm chilling and just sitting back is like, what all that I got to do? Oh, damn, I have a lot to do. And then it's rinse, repeat the
Hmm.
next day because you forget all about what you have to do and you just do what you want to do in the immediate.
Absolutely. And I'm horrible because I don't write anything down. It's like you have multiple tabs open in your head and you're constantly going back and forth. You start on one thing, you start doing it, and then halfway through it, you switch to the next tab.
I got
I feel
multiple
like that's
tabs.
how my mind works.
Like, forget my mind. That's how my phone works. Like, I finally upped and closed like a majority of the tags, and I end up closing like 246 with still like 80 tabs
Oh my
open.
goodness. Yeah,
Now,
that's how it would be in a day.
now are these like adult videos that I'm like thinking, oh, I want to watch that later? Yes. At least I cleaned it up. That's the victory. I got most of them gone, and now it's just
See, you have to, that's why you have to bookmark them. You have to put them in a favorite tab, like in your
But that's
favorites,
the
and have
problem. I
a,
put in the favorites. I never watched them either. Like,
what?
it was literally a moment of like, I'm not gonna watch all these. Let me just go ahead and close them. And you know, if you love something, let it go, and it'll come back to you. So that's how I'm treating it.
Like, oh yeah, I remember this video. Let me go ahead and start this finally.
Let me go ahead and put it back on the tab list, and I'll get back to it later. And the vicious cycle begins all over again.
Oh no.
Oh, as far as me, I am doing pretty good myself. I think I said it the last episode. I don't remember, but I'm just doing this coding bootcamp thing as I chill on unemployment, trying to switch careers from financing, working at banks, like as a teller and banker. And the only other thing I got is like call center customer service experience, and they don't pay well enough. So
No.
it was time for a switch, and that's what I got this week. So this week included 9 more weeks of this program, and it is like ramping up. But at least the next section of it is like what I want to do is back end stuff, where I'm still chilling the
Mhm.
cut. I'm just going ahead and make sure everything's working in the background, and we keep it moving. Like I don't need to be the person that's setting up the website, having it look pretty. That's what we're doing right now. So I'm like working to at least get good at that because all I know is I get this money, I'm gonna be an intercontinental thought. Just be like, oh, there's a party in
Hey.
DC. All right, let's go ahead and fly out. Sometimes I go solo. Sometimes I go with my partner, and we just go ahead and just have a good time.
I mean, what are you excited about in after this, after going through the program?
The money, that is the number one thing
The money.
because like the highest I've made, like when you get a job, this is what you make in a year. Not account for overtime and
Hmm.
blah blah blah. The highest I got to was like 49K, and this is Texas, so no state tax, thank God. But still, with federal tax,
Hmm.
insurance, and blah blah blah, it's essential like 30 a year, and
Hmm.
it's sustainable. Like you have a roof over your head, you have food, you pay your bills, but it's not enough money to go do fun stuff. Like my ADHD has caused some sacrificial choices where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go in DC, and a future Ike will figure this out. And so that's why, like, it's not like the money, like, oh, I want to be rich. No, I just want to be comfortable enough to where if I get stranded somewhere, like if I'm stranded in New York, I don't have to like hit up 10 people and say, hey, can I borrow this because I'm stuck here because of a cancellation? Like, I want to be able to travel
Hmm.
comfortably, like, travel freely. Like, I don't have to,
Yeah.
like, in the itinerary, I don't want the budget to be like the big, like, thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
You'll
what I'm
have more
excited about.
freedom, definitely.
That's the thing I'm excited about. And like I even got this like I bought a whiteboard because like you, I don't write stuff down. So I decided let me at least make some changes. So at least like I have paper everywhere. I have notebooks everywhere. So that way like I had notebooks for different shit. I have my
Mm-hmm.
whiteboard up here, so it's like literally telling me like, "Hey, here's the motivation." So if I ever feel like, "Oh, I
Good.
don't feel like staying in this class," I'll look up and be like, "You know what? It ain't about feelings. It's about the fact that we need to get a better source of income." And yeah, so this Monday and like the past few weeks, this is mainly what I've been doing.
Hmm.
And also, I got invited out to go to Houston to put on a scene for this event that's going on out there. What is it? It's called Halloween. It's a Halloween strap-on party.
What? Oh my God, that sounds so fun.
So yes, so I went to this event called Spankfest that was happening. Was it? It was about a month ago. It was someone's birthday as well as his slave's birthday. Excuse me, y'all.
Hmm.
Going to BDSM talk. Yeah, it was his slave's birthday and his birthday that weekend. So he threw an event.
Hmm.
It was out in Houston at this place called the G Spot or whatever. And so I did have a couple friends that are out there. They enjoy the work that I do in terms of me doming with my impact scenes. And so I did
Hmm.
it there live, and someone like saw me do it and was like, they knew the person that I knew. This guy Sugar, like we're cool with each other. It's like, hey, what's good? Like, cause black
Yeah, that's
doms. It's
networking
like
there.
it's easy to find like is not many well-known black doms to where it's like a small circle. Like I met Marvelous, I met Daddy Hef, um, chatted up with Reed. Like I know these. Like it's a small circle, so when someone is like, "Oh, you doing your thing," they will know
Hmm.
you exist. And
See,
in this instance, I got invited. Like, hey, could you come out, put on a scene at this event on Friday? Da da da. I'm like, sure, why not? Like, let me get a little more renown.
how are you finding these events? Are these on FetLife, or are you just finding them through people?
They are on FetLife, but it's also a mix of like with my peoples. Like, I kind
Okay.
of like, what was it, 2019, before the world said, you know what, screw your health. I joined this group called, well, it was called a tribe called Kink at the time, and that's how I
Mm.
met more like black kinksters nationally. And from there, it just kind of like grew where I end up like going to an event, meeting more people. And then there were people outside of that group that I was like, hey, you should check this group out. Like there is a group I just learned about like a few weeks ago called Central Texas Dark Side. And they're a group that deals like
Mm-hmm.
with impact play and things like that. Like they have their own events out here in Central Texas I never knew. Like even the only reason why, what was it? Because I went to Houston twice. One was for Sexual Essentials event that she had in Houston, the art exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
She normally does that once a year in different cities, and there was someone that I met at that same Spank Fest that was like, "Hey, yo, I'm kind of looking for someone that could top me for Impact. Like, hey, you want to meet?" Or like she was interested when I made a random post on FetLife. I was like, man, after seeing what I saw, I think I need a paint slut in my life. And then she did hit me up, was like, hey yo, just so you know, I saw what you were doing, and just I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested if you ever want to meet. And I'm like, all right, we chopped it up because like the main theme between those kind of dynamics is you gotta have conversation. Like I couldn't just go in and be like, hell yeah, gun ho, like why not? It's more like, all right, cool, I'm excited, but I gotta temper myself and make sure that it's a fit because you can't just be out here
Right.
saying yes to anyone. And it's a
No.
fit. It's fun to find a fellow like she's also nerdy like me, so it was like a good fit, and it's like matching. Like, oh yeah, I can take X, Y, and Z. Like, cool, I can actually like let loose because you met me in person. I am 6'3" and I'm a big body.
Yeah.
So,
Big tall.
oh, and
But it's funny because I knew exactly who you were as soon as I saw you. I was looking from the back, but I was like, I know who that is. Let me go say hi and tell him that I love this podcast and I love this content.
See,
It was a brief meet, but
I had no idea because when I do this, I'm doing this out of like personal self discovery. I thought it was like cool to do, like it's a hobby. Like I picked up photography, but I couldn't really get into it because you can only go so many places, and it's like it's a bigger investment for photography because of all the lenses and things you got to get. But then when I came
oh
up with the
yeah,
idea of the podcast, like the name hit me, and I'm like, I gotta do this. So I like sold the camera, bought some of this equipment, and figured I made it work. And like you literally like uplifted my spirits and like, man, you're doing good stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
someone out here is listening to my stuff because it's, I pub it how I can pub it. Like I just like, hey, check it out. Hey, yada yada. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was like completely Oh, for the people that are listening, the guest here. So one of my play partners is a part of a troupe. The Fat Bottom Cabaret,
At bottom. Mhm.
and they were having their like first show in forever because COVID kind of ruined what they had going on, and so they were able to put on a show. And I went to go to support because like, hey, why not? And during their little intermission, that's where the guest came up was like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, I have no idea who this person is, and I felt so bad. Like, should I know who this person is? Because I remember faces, I don't remember names, and I'm like, I don't remember neither. Oh crap!
I'm a rando.
But
Alright.
no, I thought it was like overall it did kind of like give me like some spirit. So I'm like, all right, I'm at least I'm doing something right. Like it wasn't that because the if I get the crowd that's like, yeah, bro, man, fuck these hoes, like they be tripping. If I get that crowd, I'm doing something wrong. Like I'm not over here trying to be about part of the manosphere. But if someone's coming up like, yeah, what you generally talk about, I vibe with it. I'm like, cool, I'm in the right direction. Like I'm in the right circle that I want to be in.
hmm I see. So with the manosphere, that's kind of what I was a little bit worried about talking about my dynamic, because I feel like um, I first got into poly and opening the relationship with my primary partner, I was searching. I was trying to see if anyone was talking about it, if there were other people that were in the same dynamic as me, as being like the female hinge with two cis males. And I wasn't really getting that. And whenever I did, especially like on a platform like YouTube, the comments were wild. The comments were just going in on the female specifically, um, just trying to make it seem like she's just not happy in the primary relationship, or she's trying to play the guys in it and all of that, and just some other horrible stuff. So I wanted to put at least my experience out there, because I feel like there needs to be a more positive light, and it needs to be spoken about more in general. So that's how I feel.
Well, that's the reason why I'm glad that you asked to be on here because those discussions are needed. It's not out there mainly because of essentially the dynamic between men and women. Like the
hmm
way men see it, women are property, they are to be owned and commanded. That's how it's quote unquote supposed to be. So when a woman
hmm
has two men, they are seeing it as she has two owners because a woman can't be an owner. Like she is the property. And it's not like they don't put in those layman terms, but you can hear it in the hidden language. Like the fact that they are treating the women in the comments as if they are tricking the man or playing the man. That means they're essentially saying the woman is manipulating the man because ain't no way a man in his good senses would have a woman with another man and have it consensual.
hmm
And it's just it's unnecessary and toxic because all you can do is just mind your business. Like
Yeah, that's really all you can do.
if it isn't for you, then it's not for you. That doesn't mean you have to force everyone to do what you want because you're uncomfortable. Like I it's I understand it because we live in a world where we kind of have that whole was it not a hero complex, the main, oh man, what was it, main character syndrome.
Main character?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that whole main
It's all
character
about me,
syndrome.
me, me.
Like, people don't think of themselves as possibly being a side character or a non-character at all. They just feel like anything that they see or hear, it's all about them, and they project that onto any woman that shows any kind of freedom. Or on the opposite end, I guess you might have missed those comments. I bet they were calling the two gentlemen either cucks or weak or betas or some stupid nonsense, because
Mm-hmm.
how can you cohabitate with another man with one woman? And I'm like, logically. And see, this is where I get flustered, because it's like they try to bring up the past, like like caveman past, when like, yo, you realize that what would happen is essentially were orgies where a woman will have multiple men to try to get the strongest seed. Like, it wasn't as if, okay, we'll be together. Like, even the concept of, yeah, they knocked the woman out, took her to the cave, and it was non consensual. I do not
Mm-hmm.
believe that. Like, everything that shows in the past of humanity before we got to the point of like harming each other, it shows cooperation. Like, people are like living together trying to survive, and the idea that the man who can get any woman pregnant at any time would have
Mm-hmm.
more power than the woman who's the one that's bringing life into the world, is like someone hit the right con to trick society into thinking women are lesser than, and thus can only be with, like, the one, like a man should have multiple women, and it's a flusterfuck.
It's a whole thing. It's funny because like I I'm pretty particular who I talk to about my dynamic, mainly because I have a kid with me. I have my little one. So I think it's mainly for me, I prefer to go a certain way about it. But I I was talking to my mom about it, and the first question that she was asking was, well, what is your primary get out of it? Like, what does he get out of it? What's the point? Like, are they together? No. Okay, well then what's that? What is that? What sense does that make? So I feel like that's the first thing that kind of comes up whenever I'm speaking about it. Like I have to defend myself.
Rebuttal.
Okay.
I do prefer when people come to me like your mother has,
Mm-hmm.
because that means they have an
Ask me a
open
question.
mind and are trying to get an understanding. Like, it'll be one thing if she's asking and then questioning your decision based off what you're saying, but if they're asking to
Mm-hmm.
get a grasp of, like, oh, I never thought, because more times than not, they've never thought of it that way. Now, I always let people know, and no, monogamy is not for everybody. Like, clearly it's not if you have all this, like, horrible communication, fear of sharing emotions. Like, there's a lot of things that show that everyone is not built for non monogamy, but
Yeah,
that
true.
doesn't mean that you can't try and understand it and possibly take some things that may actually help you in your monogamy.
That's very true. Yeah. My mom, she's so cool. She's so understanding. But that's kind of what led to our whole conversation about what was going on and the whole dynamic. So,
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
and also I also, but then again, this is might be me, it might be just my Capricornness or whatever. I like my thoughts being challenged.
Mm,
So if you ask me a question and I give a half-assed answer and you're questioning that half-assedness, I prefer that, so I can get to a concrete answer. So the next time I'm asked that, I have something like concrete, like it's not going to be shaken unless you have something great to shake it. So
yeah.
I don't mind challenges like those. The ones I don't like are the random. So you let your girl fuck other niggas? That's the one where I'm like, first issue, let. Like, she could break up with me tomorrow and then go fuck other niggas. Like, it's not a let. It's not a you have my permission. No, it is a we agreed upon thing between two parties. Like, I am so against one penis policy because I know if I told anyone like, oh, it's just me and two girls, playa, that's how you do it. Yeah, I was like, do they fuck other niggas? No, man, I want to be like you. Like that's how that side goes. But if it was on the other end, because my lady does, well, they haven't interacted in a while, but she did have like a male play partner. It's like I met him like accidentally, like I just crossed him past like I've seen your picture. It's like I've seen your picture. Like, oh, hey, what's good, Meta? Now she ain't really here for the term meta because of the significance of the word, even though the layman term
Mhm.
is like, yeah, my partner's partner, and you know, I'm gonna let her handle that side of things. But yeah, I was like, and I ran into him a couple of times. It was like he's a cool guy. Like I'm glad that's when it comes to any kind of dynamic. That's all I care about. Where it's like, I hope it's a decent person. I
Mhm.
hope that you're making good choices, but it's your choice to make. I can control it. Like if it's like if I feel it's a bad choice, I will let you know. And if I feel like I gotta remove myself, I will remove myself. Thankfully, I have not come across anything like that. But overall, like people that come in, more people are now like, yeah, I can see that for you. Like you seem like the type of guy that will be in that kind of relationship. And the strangers, they're befuddled. They get it when I'm saying I'm not monogamous. They are a little confused when
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, my girl can fuck other niggas. Like that's the part where everything makes sense to them until wait a minute, other
That
men?
part.
Like it's people are funny.
And the whole, I feel like a big part of that is really trusting the people that you're with, trusting the people that you're in a relationship, communicating with, all of that, because it's they're doing they're doing what's best for them. And then also, I'd like to think that they also have your well-being in mind too. But just overall, I trust my partners to make smart decisions, so I don't really dive into um what all they're doing and all the gist of that. They let me know what needs to be known and all of that. So
Oh yeah,
I
just if it concerns me directly, definitely let me know. And if it doesn't
yeah.
concern me directly, like I don't mind you sharing. If you need to like vent, as long as you ain't talking bad about whoever, you can vent. But you know things like that. Because I'm not in the business of down talking other people. Like if you feel a need to down talk someone, go
Same.
talk to them. Have a like suss it out. See why you feel that way. See if there's something that can be worked on. But don't come to me talking about, man, the way this woman be acting. Like I don't need all that. Like it's one thing if she forgot my birthday, you wanted to get it out before you go back and talk to her and just because you might be like upset, but you don't want to be like that upset while talking to him. Cool, I can let you
Hmm.
vent, but if you're just out here just to badmouth, like that's like I'm creating an episode for red flags and green flags, and one of the red flags I
Hmm.
have is bad mouthing their partners or ex partners. Because it's like you're with
Mm,
someone brand new right now. What they gotta do with what's going on.
nothing.
And also, like, what does that say if we don't work out? So you're gonna start bad mouthing me to everybody? So it's like that's like a red flag in my book.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'll have times where um there may be something going on with one partner, and I go to see another partner, and they're like, "Hey, is everything okay?" Like you can visibly see that I'm upset, but I I don't vent, but I do kind of let them know, like, yeah, there's something going on. I'm not really, I'm not in the greatest mood right now, but I'm not gonna go into the details about what all is going on. I'm a very private person in general. So, and I don't like other outside forces to be in that me and you relationship. So,
But at least you're
um,
communicating that. Like, it's one thing if it's
yeah.
like nothing and then you keep it going. At least you're communicating. I feel this way. I don't want to go to into further extent. Please respect these wishes. Yeah, as long as that person's like, oh, okay, boundary set, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be here if you need me. Versus, no, I'm good, nothing. Like you gotta communicate these things, and that's why I'm talking about with monogamous people. Like, yo, this will help you out. Learn how to actually communicate and not always run to your best friend to talk shit about your man's, because that shit will build into resentment, and then it will fester into something more.
Absolutely. Yeah, because they're not going to your best friend firsthand. I mean, they don't have to. I mean, they don't communicate with each other. So all they're getting is what you're telling them, and that forms a whole separate view of that person. They don't get the full view of what's really going on.
Yeah. But look, see, we are already what 20 minutes in. I guess let me go ahead.
Mhm.
I told you I have to purposely look at this clock, otherwise we will be here for the stretch of the night. But forget the if anything, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Hitchhiker's Guide to Ethical Non-Monogamy. I am the host Ike, and today I have a lovely guest here who is in a male female male dynamic where she is the hinge in her relationship, polyamorous relationship. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to the peoples?
Hi, I am Kesha. I am living in Austin for about 3 years, and I've just been living my life as I feel like a newly poly person, being a very happy mommy to a girl, beautiful girl, and yeah, just doing my
See,
own thing.
every mom, they will let it be known, like, oh yeah, I got like two beautiful
Oh yeah,
boys. Like, oh, my daughter's my world.
bring
Like,
out the
don't.
photos. We'll let
uh,
you know. You'll know.
But yes, I have her on today. She asked to be on. I ran across, we already discussed earlier, ran across her, met her at this cabaret show, burlesque show. I'm about to say cabaret show, like wrong ones. But yeah, I met her at the burlesque show. She introduced. It was nice to meet her. She hit me up on IG because her dynamic exists. It's all out there, but it's never really discussed because of how society has it set up where it's normal to see a man wanting multiple women, but it's hard to see a woman wanting multiple men. And that's why
Mhm.
it's always going to be hard for anyone that has cis male partners. It's going to be like hard to see people talk about that because they're either getting kind of slut shamed or the partners are getting shamed because they're quote unquote lacking masculinity. It's a whole mess, and that's why I'm glad she reached out so we can at least talk about some of these things so let it be known like, yo, the same way a triad can have one guy and two ladies, there could be a triad with a one lady and two guys. And it doesn't have to be closed because when it comes to polyamory, it's not about being closed. Like, it's multiple loves. It's not love of two people. So that's even where I find it even weirder when it's like, yeah, I want a close triad. It's like, then you're not polyamorous. You're just trying to either get like a sister wife or a brother husband. Like,
Brother husband.
I just literally said it on the spot. I'm assuming someone said it out there on the internet,
Yeah.
but yeah, we have been talking for a bit. Gonna take a quick break before we kind of actually talk about the whole like dynamics, how it came up, and how she thrives in it.
Yes.
All right, right back.
Yeah.
All right, travelers, welcome back to the second part of this episode with the lovely Keisha here to chop it up and talk about this hinge dynamic that she has.
Yes. I'm excited.
All right, you were just saying you were nervous.
Yes, that too.
All right, I guess both things can be true. All right,
Mhm.
so I did come up with some questions when you asked me to appear on here. I actually showed you the questions, so ain't no gotcha moments over here. This is not that kind of podcast. We are here to learn and grow. And actually, before I go into those questions, this one is not a hard one. It's not a gotcha. It's more like, how did you end up meeting your partners? Because one of the biggest gripes that a lot of people have with being non-monogamous is finding people who are non-monogamous. Now there are dating, because most dating apps they cater to the monogamous dynamics. There are some out there like hashtag open and things field like to where they're embracing a more diverse, even OK Cupid, like trying to reach a more diverse
Yeah.
dating pool. But the predominant apps like Bumble and Tinder and whatnot is particularly like monogamous. So how did you go about finding your dynamic?
So my primary partner, that one, that one was a Craigslist booty call. Um,
Oh, before the Craigslist thing shut down.
yeah, before it all shut down, the Craigslist booty call. He wrote me like this really long initial message that made me laugh, and we just kind of went from there. We've been together for 6 years and married for 5, and just we kind of noticed that we like to be friendly with our friends, just kind of flirting and talking, and we talked about that together and how we wanted our relationship to be amongst not just only me and him, but with other people. And it slowly evolved from there, from talking to eventually meeting other people on FetLife. Um, and I think that was when I realized, like, oh, I can emotionally be connected with someone else more than just like just physical sexual attraction. Um, and then because we were planning to move to Austin like 6 months prior, and I was talking to him. I was like, so what if I find what if I find a boyfriend? He's like, you want to look for yourself a boyfriend? Yeah. He's like, as long as I could look for a boyfriend too. So, and he's he's bisexual. So I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, if that's what you want, then yeah, go for it. Then he's like, if that's what you want, then go for it. And we got here. I already had my Fet Life account. I was mainly searching for rope classes and rope events, and I would sort of meet people there. But where I found my other long-term partner, um, I feel like I was just browsing. I was just browsing pictures, browsing posts, um, and I saw that he was commenting on a lot of discussion posts. So he had pictures of himself on the page, but also on top of that, I was just reading um, just some of the thoughts that he was having towards certain discussions, and that's what promoted me to send him a message, be like, "Hey, um, I saw your post and everything like that. I think we could get along pretty well. Um, I am I am married, but we are poly and we are open and we date separately. And I just want to see what you're about. And I feel like he came at the right time because I was like a month into dating, and I had been ghosted left and right. I had, oh, it was so bad. I had been ghosted. I had one guy that I was talking to where he was married himself as well, but it got to the point where the woman wanted to talk to me too, and honestly, I am completely open to that. I love women. Um, but it got to the point where there's jealousy in it too, because she wanted to know the extent of my intentions, and at that moment, I was completely open and emotionally available for just everything. So that was a no for them. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm about to give up. and I felt so bad because we had planned the date, and it got to that point where I had just been ghosted, and he was like, "Hey, like I'm here." I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm on my way." I almost forgot. Oh my goodness, met him, and it was it was just everything. The meetup was perfect. Talking to him, our conversations, he looked fine. Um, and it it was that's what it was. It just we started dating, started talking, took things slow, and now we're here 3 years later with that partner. So it's been good.
That's what's up. And what you just said right now kind of throws water on the idea that, oh, when a woman goes polyam or non-monogamous, she'll have like her way, the world's her oyster. Like there'll be everything out there for her, and I'm like, that's that misconception where it's like, oh, it's easy for women. It's like it's not really all that easy because like
Mm-mm.
yes, there may be a quote unquote abundance, but the good old saying,
Quality.
all money and good money. Like like they're out there, but all of them, are they really out there? And so it's just, that was like one conception that you brought up. I'm like, yeah, that's what came to my head. That whole idea that women have it easy. The second one is, you will never know when it'll just pop up. You'll
No,
never
never.
never know, or with who, because everyone's coming from the same starting line. Monogamy. That's the thing you do. You get married, and blah blah blah. Like that same starting line, everyone moves on from it differently. So it's
Hmm.
kind of hard to find those people that actually moved on from that starting line, where it's like, oh, there are other options out here. I can go about that. And like my
Hmm.
partner, um, I have met three women out here in Austin. Um, Two of them was OK Cupid. One of them might have been Tinder, but it ended up being FetLife. One moved to Houston, or what, so she like moved away, but it was all like made sure it was understood. Like, yeah, I'm non-monogamous. I go the route of relationship anarchy. And all that
Hmm.
means is, with each partner, there is no default assumption. Everything is curated from, hey, do you need me to call you every day? Like, everything is curated for each individual partner. That way, oh, you need
Hmm.
me to call you every day? Cool. Next partner, I need you to call me every day. I do not have the bandwidth for that. Like, I already got that obligation with someone else, and like, it's customizing it so that way we can both like have what we actually need and throw in some wants that can be provided. But
Hmm.
that's not like, I just happened upon, like, I didn't know this relationship with this woman that's going on 3 years now was going to be that. I just thought, oh well, she's cute. Oh, okay. And this, I was in DC hitting off to an orgy. So it's like, I was just like, because I was chilling, taking a nap, and I was like, let me go ahead and see who was in Austin. And ironically, two of them on the same day, like, we message back, still cool with the lady that moved to Houston, still in love with my anchor
Hmm.
partner here. And it's like, you just never know what will come across you. So, like, my advice for people that want to explore non-monogamy or just struggling in monogamy,
Hmm.
yes, it's good to keep your eye open, but don't be out there searching. Because if you're searching, you're gonna find a whole lot of piss in that dating pool.
So I feel like the whole thing is just keeping knowing what you want, and then keeping open to that, to however it comes about. Because it may start one way and then being completely different a month, 6 months, a year, or 2 years into it. Um,
And also, new people move into the city every day, B.
True. Very true.
All right. Now, another question I do have here is how do your partners feel about each other if they interact at all?
Oh man. I don't feel weird answering it for them, but just seeing how it's come about. I know at the beginning they were nervous because neither one of them have been in this dynamic before or have spoken to their metas or anything like that. But how they wanted to start off was to meet each other and talk to each other, make sure that, we were all on the same page. Um, Most importantly, my primary partner, because we've had an incident before where the couple that we were previously involved with, they were not completely honest about their intentions with us. So he wanted to make sure that that everything was gonna be okay and that to give him peace of mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, my other partner was completely okay with that. So um we it was all I feel like they completely respect each other. And they definitely root for each other. They have a lot of the same interests. So it's gotten to the point where whenever both of them are together, they completely nerd out about stuff that I can't even comprehend because I have not even watched it. And then of course here they go, sit me down, watch this. All right. So I can get what they're talking about in the context and all of that. I'm slowly learning. Um, and they they I feel like in this last year they've been gifting each other just if they'll run across something like, oh hey, the,
Here's a
they like
Funko Pop.
this. I'm just gonna yeah, I'm just gonna get them this, or I'm just gonna get them this. And that's what it's been. They completely respect each other.
Like, I feel like when it comes to any kind of like meta ship, I think that's the primary goal. Like, not even you don't have to like each other. You don't have to be buddy buddy. Just respect each other and respect your main
Yeah,
partner's like your connected partner's wishes. Like that's all it really comes down to. Um, I
yeah,
I do understand that whole need to like I gotta at least meet you because of like past trauma. Like that's what it is. It's trauma on the brain. It's because of past
yeah.
trauma. I need this to alleviate that. So that's like that's a good compromise to where we don't know what other people are thinking. So even though we might not know what that person is thinking when we meet them, it still put like a ease at
hmm
mind kind of thing. Because like so my anchor partner, she had a failed triad before, and this case
hmm
where it kind of led to what I guess what seems like on the line of abandonment, where they kind of like it was her, a guy, and a lady, and those two kind of clicked, like became cliquish with each other, and she was kind of excluded to where it was like leave a sour taste in her mouth with it. So when we
Yeah.
started off, things started off on the realm of don't ask, don't tell. In a way, like let me know you're going to meet with someone, but I don't need to know no details or what you do or blah blah blah. Over time, it
hmm
evolved to at least let me know what y'all were up to, and now it's not full comfort with it because the main thing is fear of losing someone to someone else, that whole insecurity. So I
hmm
try to make sure she understands like I'm coming home to you, and I might be my Capricorn, but I did say, look, if I was gonna break up with you, I'll break up with you. Like that, I'm not gonna just string you along and wait for you to break up with me. Like I will tell you, no, I'm done here. That was a
Yeah.
little like harsh and brutal, but I need her to understand that I am with you because I am with you. You are not holding me hostage. Like I can easily,
Mhm.
because that's how it goes. Like the same way you could break up with me, I could break up with you. I ain't break up with you yet,
Mhm.
so I didn't say yet because that would be triggering as fuck. But like I didn't break up with you, so let's enjoy this. And of course, that needs to be reminded a few times because you don't just get let go of trauma off of one instance. Uh,
Mhm.
but eventually, she even found someone for a spell. They still are cool. They just haven't communicated regularly. Um, and I have I can do with knowing all the details. I could do with knowing some. I would prefer to know more details to like make sure like, all right, are you happy? Is there anything I could pick up from this person that I might be lacking in? So I don't mind getting the details, but I will respect her wishes. Like if she wants to share bare minimum, I respect that wish.
Mhm.
Like go ahead and do you. But also kind of I tend to remind her what's comfortable for you is not necessarily comfortable for me. So you wanted to know little,
Mhm. True.
like don't assume that that's how I want to go about things. And that's a
Yeah.
human thing that's always done where it's like, oh, I'm used to this, so everyone should be. So yeah, that's kind of like where I kind of went on my side of things, the way you're describing how they met and
Mhm.
everything. Next up, I am wondering, would you look to expand further or are you saturated?
So this one, I feel like with this question, I had to learn from experience. Um, I I I had I was looking for another partner or just someone to talk to, and I went through the experience, unfortunately, of hurting said person. And in the end, that was a lesson learned that I'm saturated. I I'm saturated for me personally. I'm definitely open to friendship, um, yeah, acquaintances. But beyond that, I'm very content with how things are.
Because now I feel like that's a
Maybe
question.
later.
Yeah, I feel like that's a question that we all gotta ask ourselves because new
Hmm.
relationship energy is a hell of a drug. Like
It is.
one of my favorite things when it comes to non-monogamy is I am a fan of novel sex. So sex with a person that you've never had sex with before. So it is something that I
Hmm.
find pleasure in, but I have to make sure that I am like openly like stating these things, not saying, "Oh, I'm just here to fuck you." No, that's not my thing. Like even I still have my dating apps. I'll look in every now and again, like, oh, I wonder if there's anyone new
Hmm.
here. Like, and if they ask me what am I here for, I tell them straight up. Right now, I'm happy. I'm just looking for someone to chat with at bare minimum friendship. If need be, we'll
Yeah.
be passing strangers in the night, and this can end here. But I do enjoy friendship because I do like sharing ideas. If that friendship evolves into something more, then as it should. It should be a natural thing. Like if you're asking me, like,
Yeah. True.
"Oh, are you dating with intention?" Like even when I was asked that question when I was monogamous, I'm like, what intention? Like, no, like I don't know you. Like, I need to like be friends with you. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to get to know you, not hit a checklist.
I see. I mean, I appreciate people who are out there that are very upfront about that. Like I'm trying to date with intention. Okay, I see you because you have a goal. You have you have something specific that you're looking for. But at the same time, I feel like fr friendship the friendship part has to be built, at least for me. Like it has to I have to really know you or I feel like it won't be as successful building up into anything more. So,
Because yeah, I need to know the root of what are we. Like, if it's just simply we
yeah,
find each other attractive, that ain't enough. Like, clearly, if we're on a date
no.
together, like there's a level of attraction that you had to me. It could be my words, it could be my looks, it could be the lisp I got. I don't know, but it's like there's some level of attraction. That can't be it. Like, that's not it. We need something more than you look good, I look good, we look good together. No, I need to know, hey, you down with anime? Oh, do you read manga? What's your thoughts on sports? How do you feel politically? Like, I need more than just simply, you look cute, or at least, we take good pictures, let's go out. Like, so
I,
that's,
I I feel like that takes time, that takes growth to really understand that because I at the beginning I was like that. I was like, okay, well, I want to date with intent. Like I want to just be
I'm looking for
there.
a
I just want to like
husband, not a
yeah, I
boyfriend.
want to be completely just comfortable with you already in our first week. And it's, and it's not like that. It's not.
Because, yeah, like,
It definitely takes time.
because like me right now, I could say I'm generally saturated, saturated. Like, because I know one big problem is being oversaturated. And that's why I always try to avoid. That's why I kind of opted for relationship anarchy because I know what holes I'm willing to fill. Like, right now, I already have a nesting partner. We got bills split and yada yada yada. I have a play partner, where we go out. Like, it's like these things are established. Like, I know that.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I'm not looking for someone else to live with. I already live with someone. Now, if we go the route of buying land and building a commune, sure, we can update that. We can
Hey.
update that list of, because clearly the relationship anarchy list goes up because, oh, we have more property. Then yeah, I don't mind adding more like nesting partners or whatever. And so that's why I would say like I'm saturated. I know, like, bare minimum, because I go to play parties. I go to like the sex parties as well as the BDSM parties. So like I get saturated on that end also. So I feel like I'm good. Now, if I start making money, maybe I could wiggle in one more, like, significant partner. But the way my pocketbooks be looking, I'm good where I'm at.
We're, stuff adds up.
All right, let me get one more question in for you because I already know I'm taking a lot of your time. So, how do you see society's view on non monogamy?
I see society's view on non-monogamy. So, okay, just what other people say about
Like,
it, or
what have you seen other people say about it? Like, for example, there was the episode of Red Table Talk where they had a couple on, and Willow herself was talking about being non monogamous. You have
Mhm.
some TV shows that show some levels of non monogamy, like Sensei. Like, there are like other things out there that kind of sprinkle in the concept of more than one partner, and
Mhm.
like, what have you seen, like how society is taking that, or have you been paying attention at all
Maybe.
to it?
I feel like I feel like I've mainly seen some mixed opinions about it. Thankfully, it's not all negative. I've seen a lot of um, well, it's their relationship. If they're both happy, if everyone's happy and consenting,
If you
then
like it, I love it.
good on them. Yep. I'm minding my business. They look happy. All right. Okay, cool. But I've also seen the part where like, oh, this isn't right. Something doesn't make sense. Oh, that person was probably dragged into this. Um, that that's those are the comments that I've been running into. But I'm happy to see that majority of the comments or the conversations have been about that they've been mostly positive about it. So that makes me excited.
Well, yeah, that's good. On my end, because I do this podcast, I'm a part of a few E&M groups and chats and all that. So I get to see at least
Hmm.
a little bit more. Like, I would say what you're saying is pretty, like, there's more good than bad. Like, more people are talking about how, like, they are happier, or like, even if there's a breakup, like the benefits from it and things to that effect. But I also
Hmm.
see the dark side of the whole trying to bring monogamous values into polyamory, a
Mm.
la that close triad where it's like, I just want, me and two women only messing with each other. Like, they try to fuse the two together as opposed to just being like, no, that's not polyamory. Go take that weak sauce stuff somewhere else, because what you're just doing
Hmm.
is you're trying to pull off polygyny without going like the full route, because you'll see some people bring up, yeah, in Africa they had multiple wives. I'm just trying to build a dynasty and all this other hoopla. Like, number one, no, polygyny is not going to bring black people up. Like, that's not how this works. Number two, build a dynasty. Like, in Africa, I'm Nigerian. I lived there 4 years and got to learn this stuff. The
Hmm.
men that were allotted multiple wives got those wives because they had the land and money to sustain those wives. It's not that, hey, let's get all these wives together so we can get all money together. No, it's, I'm rich, therefore I can support multiple wives. And so that's some
Hmm.
of the stuff I'm seeing. I'm like, bruh, take that toxic stuff somewhere else. Because right now, you're going to bring trauma to some unsuspecting woman because you don't know how to humble yourself. Like, you are threatened by
Oh yeah.
men.
Oh,
Like, you're threatened by men being with your woman because you still see her as property. Like, yo.
and I feel like that's a big thing that you have to have is humility and just putting aside the pride to understand all parts of the relationship, um, and asking questions and putting your initial, well, not putting your initial feelings over to the side, but really communicating and
Like, maybe not
just
pushing your feelings to the side, but acknowledging your feelings in the moment, but be receptive of what's being given
yes,
to you.
correct. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of it is taking is taking constructive criticism about how things are going and how you're reacting to things in the relationship, and it's constantly changing no matter what the dynamic is.
Yep. So that's the thing. It's always evolving because as time goes on, people change, dynamics change, and that's why I will
Hmm.
forever tell people communication is everything. Like, if you feel like something's not connected between you and your partner, you gotta bring it up. Otherwise, that's true. Because if you don't feel like you can talk to your partner, then who are they? Like, you can't treat your partner like a stranger. Like, if you feel something
No.
directly towards them, gotta talk it out. Otherwise, you might as well just be strangers, because it's one thing for me to go up to someone at the bus stop and be like, hey, I don't appreciate you standing in this spot. Like, they don't know me. I don't know them. I'm just going to walk up to you and give you a criticism. But if I know you and you know me, then you know this is coming from my heart. This is coming from a place where I'm a bit uncomfortable and I want to tell you, and hopefully you can make adjustments so I can be comfortable. Or if it's a
Hmm.
situation where it's like, oh, I can't do that, and you give your explanation why, okay, I'm uncomfortable, but I get where it's coming from with her or him, and we can maybe work together to find a middle ground so that way we're both feeling better about whatever situation. But that will never
Hmm.
happen if you're over here being afraid of criticism or being afraid to critique.
Oh yeah, no, all of the hard conversations that you were probably trying to avoid, or not talk about it, it'll come up one way or another.
Cause 3 year I'm glad we made it 3 years in because that's something she have finally got through. Like she finally understood about me, where it's like, yo, if we have a
Hmm.
hard conversation, we are dealing with it now. Unless emotions are flared. Like it's one thing if it's like, if a voice is raised, or then yes, we will take 5-10 minutes to calm down while we get back together to
Hmm.
talk this out. There is no I'm gonna be quiet and let it pass. Like we do not
Hmm.
do that here.
Hmm.
I'm so glad I got those Black Panther tickets. But, ladies and gentlemen, I want to go ahead and wrap up the episode here. Again, I already took like an hour of her time. I am so thankful that she reached out to me because this was a great conversation.
Yes, I'm so happy that I got to be on your show. Thank you so much.
No problem at all. Do you have anything personal that you want to plug or share, or maybe a recommendation?
Um, I'd say, I guess just a piece of advice or just a suggestion to everyone. Um, be vocal about the good stuff that your partners are doing. I feel like I'm definitely someone who physically shows my appreciation, but actually saying it or hearing it said from either of my partners kind of puts me at ease, especially since I'm constantly multitasking and I'm constantly thinking about them, trying to see like, okay, are you happy? Are you happy? Like, I'm wondering if they're happy. Are they good? Are they good? Like just hearing it is so it's so good and puts that person at ease. So anything that they're doing, just say that that made you happy and that you're very happy.
No, that's great advice because it's always easy to like pick out the bad, but every now and again you forget to share that good. So that's some great advice. I'm gonna throw this recommendation where if you most people already heard me say this. Like I'm loving this book right now. Set boundaries, find peace. I need more people to read that because this woman was like, she will read you to filth over here talking about, oh, you feel bad because you feel guilty setting a boundary for a family member, but at the same time you feel bad when a family member does something to you. See, that book was, I really enjoyed it. I'm enjoying this book. I need to go ahead and finish it. But yeah, find boundaries, set peace. Like it's not even because it's not like a book for dating. It's purely about like, I don't even do self help books, but this felt very like
Mhm.
appropriate self help, where it's like I gotta remember I am a part of the equation because my people pleaser ass
Mhm.
would easily like forget I gotta like have a day for myself.
True.
All right, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Y'all already have my socials, so Twitter hitchhiking to ENM. We have Hitchhiker's Guide to ENM for my Instagram, and you can email me at hitchhikersguide to ENM@gmail.com for questions, comments, concerns, or suggestions. Or if you just want to pop on and chat with your boy, we'll go ahead and get into it. But yeah, until then, like I always say, be sure to look both ways before you cross these streets, travelers, and be safe.